Welcome to the Stacked Supplement Podcast, the premier source for supplement news and reviews.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where we go over some of the exciting stories and announcements shared on our site at stack.com or stack3d.com, as people say, from the past 7 days. Just before we get into the news, we're going to just run over the next couple of weeks, which are going to be pretty interesting for the podcast and for the site. Next week is, of course, the Arnold, and we're going to be doing our usual live coverage of the event, sharing all the excitement, any new releases, any new developments, any new products from the show on the site. So just it'll be mixed in with the regular news feed. So if you just go to the site, follow on social, whatever, you'll catch all the updates and announcements. In the lead up to that, we are actually going to be doing a special Arnold edition podcast episode. I believe it'll be coming out on the Wednesday or Thursday, which is going to be basically going over what we're in for at the event. As always, the Arnold is going to be one of the biggest supplement expos of the year, with plenty of big brands in attendance. But more to the point, we're going to run over some of the exciting products that are going to be at the show. As we've previously announced, we're going to be doing our awards this year at the Arnold, as we did last year for the first time, where we we've got 4 categories: Best Booth, People's Choice, Best New Product, and Best Tasting Product. And we're going to be handing those out to exhibitors and brands at the show. And we're going to give a little preview with this special podcast episode next week on all the new releases that we've heard about or are expecting to see. As it stands, there are already a lot of new products that we know of that are going to be at the show. You've got Core Nutritionals, who's bringing Core Intra. They're also going to have their 1-week-old Core Fury Platinum. Redcon 1 is bringing a bunch of new stuff, including the Fubar Energy Shot. And so it's not going to be short on excitement, hence why we're doing the episode. And also later this week, we're doing an episode with the man behind Apollo Nutrition, who we recently started sharing news about in regards to their powerful new pre-workout Assassin. And you've also got their Fat Burner, which was just unveiled, and that is due to come out very soon with Chaos. There is another product the brand is coming out as well. I believe we're sharing news on it in the coming weeks. But as always, stay tuned to the website. But that is what I meant by we have a lot coming for the podcast and the site. But actually, another bit of news, we are going to be doing a bunch of shirts, tees for the Arnold. We usually make them for ourselves, the team, me and my CEO, Nikki. That we just basically do for the fun of it, for the show, for, I guess, a little bit of marketing for ourselves. But this year, I think we're going to be doing a whole bunch of extras, like a lot of extras, basically. We're going to bring them with us to the show, and if anyone sees us or anyone meets up or wants to shake hands or anything, or even just gives us a nod, we'll be giving these shirts out at the show. I think we put it on our Instagram yesterday. The reaction was just pretty damn cool, so we thought, what the hell, we'll get a few run off, bring them with us, and hand them out, and it's just free basically until we run out. So if you see us, whether you're a brand owner, whether you're a fan, whether you're a loyal reader, or anything, just let us know. We'll be the ones in the Stack shirts, and hit us up, and we'll throw you one for free. But now, for now, we'll just get straight into the news. As mentioned, we're going to be going over the top stories from the last 7 days, and we're going to kick things off with a company from the UK who has been pretty damn exciting over the past year, and that is the Skinny Food Co. Now, we met this brand last year around Body Power, and it's essentially a functional food brand, a very, very diverse, creative, and unique functional food brand who pumps out new flavors and products like nobody else I've seen. They've got 0 calorie to low calorie sauces. They've got 0 to low calorie syrups. They have fruit spreads. They have flavor drops, which, as we've mentioned on the site before, it's not very common, if not even uncommon, as it's completely rare in the US. Flavor drops are a type of product you pretty much get from a lot of brands in the UK and Europe. It's just a basically little concentrated flavor liquid, and you can drop it on your food, drop it on your shakes, drop it on your smoothies, and it adds a good hit of flavor, or the flavor that's on the bottle. And in Europe, you'll find a mountain of different flavors in that product format. That's another thing that Skinny Food does. They have a lot. They have a lot of products. And this past week, they announced what I thought was probably one of the coolest things I had seen in the functional space for quite some time, and the thing is, it's so damn simple. So the Skinny Food Co. announced that they're doing single-serve packets of their Skinny sauce, which is a 0 to low-calorie, no-sugar sauce. Tastes great, comes in a mountain of flavors, and so they basically put it into little, tiny, on-the-go, convenient, disposable packets. Very much like you get when you go to a fast food chain and you ask for extra sauce and they give it to you in the form of the packets. The Skinny Food Co. is doing that format, but for its healthy alternative sauces. And I just thought that was one of the coolest and most simplest ideas I had seen in a while. Not just because of how convenient it would be for, if you're a fan who loves the sauce already, wants to go out to dinner or wants to go out for whatever and wants to take the sauce with them. It's made this process a whole lot easier by putting it into sachets rather than them taking their 450ml bottle. But the other interesting thing I thought of this is that it opens the possibilities up for the Skinny Food Co. to put this product in fast food chains and restaurants. It would be very easy, obviously, or actually I don't know the logistics, but I imagine that the price on it is much higher than a typical sauce, but it just opens up the possibilities. It puts it on the table. I thought it was just a really cool and, again, simple idea that you can find all over the place in more mainstream markets, and this would be the first brand I've seen adapt this sort of single sachet serve format for functional foods, healthy sauces. So I thought that was very damn cool. The brand has only unveiled this cool little sachet format for 7 of its flavors of the Skinny sauce, including ketchup, garlic mayo, sweet sriracha hot chili, smoky barbecue, original mayo, brown sauce, and regular sweet chili. And those are all coming very soon. I don't know the exact prices and the exact sizes they're coming in, just that they're coming. So you can read up more about it on the site. But again, very creative and very interesting, and not too surprising from a brand who has been in the news what seems like almost every week or two since we first met them. Next, we go from the functional side to a brand who, I guess, kind of invented this little process here, and that is Rep Sports with the energy drink Raise Energy. Now, last year, you may remember, Rep Sports did the first ever crowdsourced energy drink. And just to give you a quick rundown on what that means, it's not crowdsourced or crowdfunding. It is basically where fans give their input and create the product themselves. So around, I believe, early September, late August, Rep Sports started asking fans for input on flavor names. Then they asked for input on can design. Then they asked for input on the launch method. And so basically what they did was they created this product based solely on the response of fans and interaction of fans, and it ended up being the limited edition Voodoo Raise Energy, which had a nice, very sweet Fanta-like orange taste to it. And that was the first ever one that we had seen. In fact, they claimed to be the first ever crowdsourced beverage. And this year, just this past week, the brand has started to do its second. And it kicked things off by letting fans pick the taste of the product, which is not something it did with Voodoo. But this past week, it got fans to pick the taste and it picked the name, and basically and they already confirmed what fans have decided. And so Raise is coming out in an all new flavor that is going to be tropical themed, and it's going to be called Baja Lime, which is pretty cool. That they got the fans to jump in and help out once again. And so I guess the only step left for Raise is to basically ask fans for help on the product, or the can design, which is similar to what they did with Voodoo. And then from there, I believe they're launching it. We don't know exactly when they're launching it, but with Voodoo, it was like 2-3 weeks after the final decisions and things came in, that the product became available for pre-order and purchase. So I don't imagine Raise taking too long for fans to have this one in their hands either. But if you'd like to join in on that process and help them create this second crowdsourced energy drink, just head over to their Instagram page and just follow. And when they pump out things asking for your input, just jump on in. I believe the name of the flavor actually got somewhere in the realm of like 3,000 to 4,000 interactions and votes. So the brand definitely had help from fans, and the fans definitely helped decide on the name and, as mentioned, the taste. Now, from functional drinks, we go to functional bars in the form of Animal Pro Bar. Now, if you can remember, this product actually launched last year at the Olympia for the first time. It was previewed, I think, before, and then Animal bought it and kind of debuted it in Vegas at the Olympia Expo. And what it is exactly is it's sort of their more candy bar style snack. Very different from the Animal snack, which was launched a few months earlier at last year's Arnold Expo. And it was amazing. It blew me away when we tried it at the event, specifically the peanut butter flavor, which is actually made with real smooth, soft peanut butter through the middle. But the news on the bar this week is that they've finally put together a new flavor. If you can remember last year when they debuted it and launched it, they had two flavors with chocolate peanut butter, as mentioned, and chocolate berry crunch. I definitely prefer the peanut butter, but the berry also wasn't too bad. The company has now announced that they're coming out with a chocolate brownie crunch. So this is going to be a much more chocolate-heavy, chocolate lovers type flavor. Being that I loved the chocolate peanut butter so much to the point where it actually won our Best New Product Award at the Olympia last year, I'm pretty hyped to get my hands on this brownie one, which I believe is going to be available sometime this week on their website, on Animal's website, animalpack.com, and then retailers shortly after. I would have to imagine that since Animal always does the Arnold in incredible fashion and big booth, in fact they won our Best Booth Award last year, I suspect that if you go to the Arnold, you're going to get your hands on this one via a sample, or you'll be able to purchase it either way. But yeah, so third flavor for that product. Very excited to get my hands on it. From there, we move back to the UK with a huge announcement from the Mars Candy Company, and they may not sound overly supplement related or overly healthy related, but if you're familiar with the UK European market, you'll know that the Mars Candy Company, not a collaboration, the Mars Company, has put out products in the kind of health functional space for a number of years now. They hit the market with a Mars candy bar, which is actually branded with the Mars, traditional Mars look, Mars logo. The Mars bar, I'm talking about the logo, and it's just, there's a little health twist on it with the high in protein. So it was basically a traditional protein bar with the Mars branding and intended to feel and taste like a Mars bar. Since that debut, they've also done a Snickers. They did I think they did a Bounty in the form of, I believe it was a Flapjack, and they've done several different products, mostly bars, and we originally did get a Mars protein powder, which was eventually replaced last year by a new Mars protein powder called Mars High Protein. And at the same time that they launched the Mars High Protein, they launched a Snickers High Protein powder. And this past week, the reason we have them back in the headlines is that the Mars Candy Company has come out with a new style of protein powder under that high protein name, and it is based on a candy bar that we have yet to see the company put a health twist on, and that is none other than the Twix bar, the traditional biscuit stick style candy bar that's coated in caramel and chocolate. They've turned that into a protein powder, not a protein bar just yet, or no, I haven't even heard it's going to be turned into a protein bar, but they've turned it into a protein powder, and it is indeed intended to taste much like the original candy bar with a mix of chocolate, biscuit, and caramel flavors. The formula is pretty much the same as the Mars and Snickers protein powders, but obviously the flavor is intended to be what it sets it apart. And if you get a glimpse of the product on our site, just go stack.com, type in, search up Twix, you'll get a good look at it. They've fully branded it based on the Twix candy bar. It looks pretty damn cool, but my interest or my concern would be the taste, because we did actually get our hands on the Mars and Snickers high protein powders last year, a few months after they launched, and we reviewed them. And much like when we reviewed the original Mars protein powder, which was launched I think like 2 years ago, it didn't deliver that Mars Snickers type flavor. It just felt like, if you closed your eyes and didn't look at the labeling, it just felt like a chocolate protein powder with maybe a bit of a sweet caramel twist. It didn't scream to me Mars bar or Snickers bar. So my my interest or my concern would be that this Twix one might be very much the same. Obviously, not going to doubt it or hate on it until I actually tried it. But these other two don't have me super confident that this is going to actually taste like a Twix bar, more like a chocolate caramel. I don't know how they're going to work the biscuit side into it, but a chocolate caramel biscuit mix that may make you think about them. I don't know. Either way, I'm probably going to try this when I can. We're headed over to Europe for FIBO in the coming weeks, as well as Body Power, so that would be the time to do it. But again, if you want to check their product out, go to the site, and we actually link to our store, one of our favorite stores in the UK, and that's Protein Pick and Mix. If you want to order the product, which I'm pretty sure it is in stock there now, it'll cost you $32 US thereabouts for a 25 serving bag. And that store does actually ship internationally, hence why it's one of our favorites. They've sent to several countries. We've been in, around the world. So if you want to pay that shipping price, they'll have you covered. Next up is not really a new product to the market, but an entirely new brand. Now this brand really only just kind of surfaced these past couple of weeks, and it's called Beam, which means or stands for Be Amazing. It's a very colorful, very different, very premium brand. They're launching with four products, three of which we unveiled this past 7 days. And there is a premium whey isolate protein powder, a collagen formula that has a bit of a spin on it, where they don't just put collagen, they've also included a full spectrum of EAAs in the form of compound solutions amino 9 EAA blend. And then there's a vegan protein that also, much like the collagen, which has a little bit of a twist on it, their vegan protein also has a rather unique twist with a fairly similar traditional type protein nutrition profile with 20 grams of protein, 3 to 5 carbs, a gram of fat, and around 100 to 110 calories. But the twist is the protein sources that this product uses are quite different from your typical blend. It has 3 that it relies on for that 20 grams of protein with your typical pea and pumpkin seed protein. But the third one is mung bean protein, which is not something I have seen in a big brand protein powder just yet. I think I have seen it in somewhere out there. Like with most things, someone might have used it at some point, but this would be the first brand, I guess, kind of big brand I've seen with it put into their formula. And this one does promise to taste pretty damn good, which I'm quite excited about, because vegan proteins have never been able to impress me over the years. There have been a few that I've tried that just were, night and day difference compared to the competition, and we've highlighted those with Nutrix's plant protein, and then you got Ghost Vegan, which was my category leader, still is my category leader, to be honest. Nutrix just behind it, and this one is meant to be another incredible top tasting vegan protein. So I believe we might actually be getting that one in this week for review. So, and we'll probably move pretty quickly for it because we're about to head off to the Arnold. So you may actually see that one pop up, and this would be our first taste of Beam. But anyway, that brand again has 4 products. The 4th is due to be revealed later this week, so you'll have all of the details on the brand and everything it's about before its launch, which is going down next week, smack bang in the middle of the Arnold week on the Wednesday. I can actually tell you the category of that product is going to be a pre-workout, so you'll have 2 protein powders, whey-based, and then a vegan, then you'll have the collagen, and you'll have a pre-workout. But that's all launching on the 4th of March. I'm pretty sure that's the Wednesday. And it's going to be exclusively available through Beam's online store. I haven't heard anything about retail partners just yet, but they'll have a website they'll launch on the 4th, right in the middle of Arnold Week, along with availability on all of those supplements. So head on to the site, type in Beam. It actually will be a lot easier to find products now. I might just add this little bit of detail in there. We revamped the search engine behind Stack, which was absolutely shit before. It is now a whole lot better. It should make things much easier to find. But again, if you want to go find the info on Beam, just go to the site, search up Beam, BEAM, and you'll see all the details on the products. The pre-workouts information will be coming later this week. And then next week, of course, as I mentioned, you'll be getting the full launch, debut, and be able to get your hands on all of the supplements. To round out the show, we have what I thought was probably the most exciting story of the week, to leave you on a high, and that is the gaming brand Sneak. You may have seen us mention them several times over the past year or so, I think, to be honest. We started sharing them around last year when they launched, must have been a new flavor or a new shaker. It's a gaming supplement brand, and they have just the one supplement built for energy and focus, and it's very, like I said, gaming marketed, hence the energy and focus benefits. And they do a lot of cool shakers. One of their most interesting things that I think surprised the hell out of me recently was that when they launched their new Blizzard flavor, the Blizzard flavor of their energy and focus supplement, they froze it in a 60-kilo ice sculpture, and they weren't going to reveal the flavor until the whole thing melted. And as cool as that already was as a marketing stunt and a gimmick, the thing didn't thaw out for I think they left it there and just didn't change for days. So they got a flamethrower and blowtorch the hell out of it and revealed it that way. And I don't know how much of that was planned, but it was just really cool to follow on social media. But the reason they took the crown for most exciting story last week was that they announced that they're turning their original flagship gaming formula into an energy drink, much like Gamma Labs did last year with G Fuel, which proved to be extremely successful. As we've mentioned several times, they sold that thing out in just multiple times in an extremely quick fashion. But so Sneak is coming out with an energy drink that is promising the same kind of benefits as the original powder. They haven't shared the formula, but they are saying it is meant to be quite similar. I don't know if that means it's going to have the exact doses of every ingredient that's in the powder. But just to give you an idea on what you get in that powder, you get 1.5 grams of tyrosine for focus. It's a little bit of choline in there at 100 milligrams and 100 milligrams of theanine as well. And then you get 150 milligrams of caffeine, so a nice reasonable dose, my preferred dose in fact, of caffeine. So I'm kind of hoping that mix is exactly what's in the energy drink. But they basically have announced they're coming out with a carbonated version. It is going to be zero sugar. They didn't say 0 calories, but to be fair, their original powder is also not 0 calories. But they have confirmed that it will be launching in 3 flavors with Tropicilla, Blue Raspberry, and Strawberry Watermelon, all 3 of which are available for the original Sneak Energy and Focus powder. So if you are a fan, you're going to be very familiar with the flavors they're putting into that can. I think launch on it is soon. I can't actually remember the exact date. I'm going to get my hands on that ASAP. It's like I said, I've been a big fan of them since we started following them. They've done great hype, great launches, and this just seems like a nice evolution for a company that is making some noise in the gaming space, which is typically dominated by G Fuel with their mountain of flavors, collabs, limited releases. Actually, I haven't seen a limited release from them for a while, but typically it's dominated by G Fuel. We'll hopefully get our hands on that and have a review up soon. But for now, that is it. Thank you for tuning in, and again, be sure to check back on your whatever app you listen to the podcast for later this week when we drop our review with the man behind Apollon. And we'll have our recap for the week online this time next week. And then we'll also have the Arnold preview show. I'm fingers crossed for Wednesday, Thursday. It's going to be hard to squeeze it all in with the travel. But thank you and see you all next week.